okay, who are studying here, who are unaware of the Western countries, culture, find difficulties in understanding that. So it is really here lies the role of the teacher to expose his students to the easiness of putting him in context to understand either historical or geographical or historical or cultural background in order to make the distance near, okay, and to break the ice, as they said, okay, they make them easy to understand. The other problem is difficult and odd language, and this is the problem of some students, or if we don't say most, they say, Miss, we find problems in understanding literary works because we have some difficult words or odd language. So we are trying to use dictionary, but it takes a lot of time. So I say, no, this is not literary. This is not literature. If you use every now and then a dictionary whenever you read a literary text, you will miss the ability to understand and the ability to enjoy such literary work. So here lies the role of the teacher as far as difficult and odd language is concerned. So here the teacher can, of course, explain the context, that is, he has to encourage students to read through context and to understand not odd language according to their own meanings, but according to the teacher's, of course, interpretations. And here lies, for example, the example or the case of Henry V as the ministerial curriculum did that when they tried to paraphrase the archaic language used by Shakespeare in Henry V. Most of his paragraphs were explained differently and paraphrased in order to be understood by the students and in order to give them the opportunity to interpret. So here, another way of solving the problem of odd language. Another interesting problem that we must know is that some teachers find a problem of imbalance between the four skills. So the best, as we know, the best lesson is the lesson in which the teacher try to focus on listening, speaking, reading, and writing interactively. So here most of teachers try to apply such technique. And as they try, they find that sometimes they give more importance to the oral skills, listening and speaking, than reading and writing. And this is, of course, a problem, because if we expose our students the whole period to just the skill of listening, it will be a monotonous task for students. So here the best thing is that we must know how to solve such a problem in order to make a balance between the four skills. Okay? The last problem, of course, as I said, I focused on the most important problems as far as teaching literature is concerned, is time management. So time management in teaching literature is a major problem because the teacher finds himself in front of different tasks as far as diagrams are concerned, as far as main ideas are concerned, as far as character explanation or interpretations are concerned. So he must limit himself to a variety of tasks irrespective of all the level of the class. It is, he must respect the time and expose his students as much as he can to different techniques and tasks, so that the students may be able to assimilate the target language and the target objectives done by the teacher. So here we are going to move to the techniques. So what are the best techniques that can be applied as far as teaching literature is concerned? So there are varieties of techniques, but there is a variety of techniques, but the problem is that most of linguists summarize the best techniques in 5 phases. They summarize this in what we call transformation, the phase of transformation, reduction, retrieval, categorization, and storage. These are the 5 phases. So let's start with transformation. What does transformation mean? And what does the teacher is required to do in such a phase? So the first phase here, it is the role of the teacher to put the students into context. It is the stage in which the teacher tries to break the ice, to transform them from the state of unknowledge, from the state of unawareness of the literary work that they are going to study, to the state of complete awareness, complete love, integration with the literary work that they are going to study. So here lies the importance of the introductory lesson, I mean the first lesson in which the teacher provides the students with the related information about the tackled play. So one of the main ideas in which the student, the teacher must focus on when he introduces the first lesson is that he has to introduce, to expose the students to the cover of the literary work to attract their attention. So we can summarize this through A, B, C, D, E, F, the main important stages that his teacher must expose his students to. A, basic biographical information about the writer. So he has to give a brief biographical information about the writer as far as his date of birth, maybe date of death, maybe the place, the town, that is the country to which he belongs, some other works, okay? B, he can expose the students to the publication of the book, and this is very important because one version is different from the other version. The old version of that was published in 1960 is different from the one that was published in 2000, for example, okay? So C, he can expose his students to the historical setting also, because when the writer is writing any literary work as far as Shakespeare is concerned, or Mark Twain is concerned, or a Great Expectations writer Charles Dickens is concerned. Okay, so here we must expose our students to historical setting. That is, when he writes, he doesn't write about his present. The writer, he referred back to a known era. So we must put into consideration, into context, that in front of our students. The other stage is D, which is we have to expose our students to the number of the episodes, and we have to remind our students here that the novel or the play, okay, that we are going to study is composed of maybe 1,000 pages, but here we extract only the main important ideas and we summarize it in 6 episodes, for example, with 11 and 12th grade, and then 5 episodes with the 10th form. So the students must be aware of the difference between the literary work that he is going to study and the other films or the original work that he can find in any library. Okay, so the other transformational technique that he can use is exposing the students to the genre of the tackled play or novel. If it is romantic or historical or tragic or comedy or any genre, he must, of course, it's a good opportunity to expose your students to such types of genres. Okay, so here, as I said, after exposing them, he has to ask his students to, of course, to know the major themes tackled in the play. Here, the major notions. For example, with the Great Expectations here, with the Great Expectation, we can expose them to the notion of guilt, to the notion of material freedom. Okay, as far as the 19th century is concerned, with Huckleberry Finn, 11th form, you can expose the students to the theme of also freedom, of slavery, of social mobility, of different notions that are, of course, mentioned in between the lines in the novel. Okay, so here, after exposing your students to the cover of the original work, the different stages that we have already done, we can, yes, encourage now your students to read the first episode at home, so to enjoy it. So here, The students will go back and he has a previous idea about the literary work that he is going to study. And you can ask them to make questions, to formulate questions about the characters that he is going to cover during the first episode, about maybe the historical circumstances, about the narrator himself, and about anything that it is confused.